Morning, Alex. It's Tuesday, and I still don't have Black Butte edited. But there's a reason for that, and that, my friend, is copyright. So I've been giving it a lot of thought over the weekend because my plan, of course, was to have the Black Butte stuff edited into something that I could show. But really, when I got down to thinking about it, the fact of the matter is I don't own that footage. Like, legally, I can't actually edit that and put that online as my own product because that belongs to the school. Which of course kind of sucks because that means that in the future if I ever wanted to edit it into something, I wouldn't be allowed to do that. Or once I graduate and I'm no longer working at this job, if I wanted to turn that into a feature-length documentary, I would have to get written permission to use that footage for my own personal usage. Because currently, when I recorded it, I am a member of the college. Like, I am an employee, and that is their footage, not mine. So it's sad that after all of the times I've said that I would edit it together, I have to come back and say I can't do it. But of course, once I actually do manage to get something edited together for the college, I can always link to it on this website. So this sort of puts us into a strange kind of netherworld of copyright, just because if I were a student back at UCF and I used their equipment to record something that I then published, they own that work because they gave me the equipment to do it. That's part of my contract with them for checking out equipment and using it. So if I were to make a feature film that made millions of dollars, I might not get any of that money because they technically own my work. Anyways, Alex, that's kind of the copyright hell that I'm trapped in. In other news, so the magazine writing class, I'm still trying to figure out what magazines that I want to try to write for. The only things that I'm really kind of an expert when it comes to, I suppose, would be biking. Although even then, I'm not really an expert on biking. I just really love the mechanics of bicycles, and I enjoy riding bicycles. So maybe I could do something based on that. And then I don't really know. Like, I know lots of miscellaneous things about miscellaneous stuff. Like, I do know a lot about environmental health, but a lot of it's already been published and written about. So I'm not really sure what I'm bringing to the table and who would be wanting to read that information once I wrote about it. So that's something I'm sort of trapped in a gray area on as well. But I'm going to have to figure that out in the next few weeks because I have to purchase magazines in order to review to figure out what I want to write for. So that's kind of my next project on that. So on another note, there's my revision of the original Star Wars trilogy that I want to write, where I will base it in the Revolutionary War. And I've actually made some headway on that. Apparently, the first hot air balloon was actually invented just after the tail end of the Revolutionary War in France. And so I'm thinking that in my retelling, the Empire, or the British Crown, will have hot air balloons that they'll use in the Revolutionary War. So that'll be part of their whole sort of revolutionary-based Death Star. And my idea is to actually work in some historical figures to where after the war, maybe the plans for the mechanical meteors, as they were called in historical terms, maybe those plans will end up with the French allies of the Americans, and that's where they will make them sort of historically accurate. So that's kind of weird, but I want to try and work some historical figures into it as best I can. And so when I was reading about that in one of my classes, I was like, hey, that would kind of work out. The timeline is just about right to fit with the story. So that's what I'm going to do once I get around to actually writing that, which will probably be after I graduate. So Alex, that's all I've really got for today. Hopefully that wasn't too disappointing that I haven't actually edited the Black Butte stuff together into something I could show on this. It's disappointing to me, but I guess that's the curse of working for somebody else as opposed to just me running off and taking video. Although I suppose if I was just taking video, they might not have let me on the Black Butte mine. So anyways, on Thursday, maybe I'll talk about what we actually saw at the Black Butte mine, even if I can't show you the video for lack of ownership. And maybe that'll at least be sort of an acceptable alternative until I get the final product edited and put online to where I can link to it in one of those little doohickey boxes that lets you click on things and then go places. Anyways, so Alex, I'll see you tomorrow, and yeah.